Alright, attempt number whatever. Let's try this again. So for the race and or place assignment, I've decided to discuss how place and community have affected my life. Because in all honesty, I feel that that's going to be quite more of an intriguing and entertaining story than how race or interactions based on my race have affected my life. Because, yeah. So I guess to start it off with how places affected my life would be to discuss where I'm filming this, which is at my home. And even more so than that, it's in my backyard. Because this place, for me, holds a very heavy symbolic and emotional value. Because no matter what time of year, cold or hot, no matter time of day, whether it's coming outside in the morning for a coffee, or in the middle of the night just to get some air, this is, for all intents and purposes, my favorite place to be. This is my spot of seclusion and peace, and just a kind of a place to catch my breath and just relax and get some air. But discussing place in my life, I've had the privilege of always growing up in the same home. I never had to move, so I have that. And in my life, I can say that it definitely has been beneficial to grow up and have your upbringing, your memories always be centered around in one spot. And the level of attachment that I have built around this place, this is my home, I feel has definitely had a great impact on who I am as a person. Just not so much in a physical sense, but place in my heritage, which would be English. I have a great love for my heritage and my family history, and everyone's from England, more or less, which is a bit ironic because my parents met here, but I love the country, I love the culture, I love the weather, which, like it is now, cloudy, damp, fear of perpetual rain, but nonetheless, my heritage is something I take great pride in. I love hearing and seeing where my family came from, and seeing how those family traditions that came from across the world on this tiny little island, which, you know, as wonderful as it is, tiny, cold, and damp, but just how the traditions have come from that place to here, and how they've grown with me and I with them. And this idea of how place has affected me doesn't necessarily stop with my family. Going to elementary school, middle school, and high school, all within blocks of one another, very, very close. And relatively speaking, in Peel District, small schools, because quite a few schools in Peel. Having such a small community, honestly, I think was quite nice. I can't really speak to growing up in a large community, because although I live in Mississauga, big city, I live in a smaller suburb, Streetsville, and all of my schools, like, I think by high school I could name just about everyone in my grade, which for someone with terrible memory such as myself is a pretty big feat. And even before that, I know I could place names to faces of most people in my grade, and also recognize most of the people in my school in high school. That's how small it was. And I think to have a community as, not necessarily close, but as knowledgeable of one another as that is, I think it's probably had something to do with my outlooks on community and social relations with one another. For myself at least, and I feel for a lot of other people, moving away to university was the first real step into independence. It's a new place with an overwhelming amount of new people, and the community itself is, you're going to a school, or whatever you want, school, a learning establishment of tens of thousands of people that most of which you share nothing in common with other than you are seeking to achieve an education in something that you may want to devote the rest of your life to, the rest of your working life to. And for me, that first year experience of being in a dormitory of somewhat like-minded people, being in an RLC, the sense of community that I'd say that we had, that I felt was wonderful, and it was very impactful. Living in a dormitory in these tiny rooms, my room very much was a social space. I had my door open nearly at all times just to see people walk past, multiple times a day when we still had classes and places to be, and sort of interact with these people that, at first, these were people I knew nothing about, and as the year progressed and as we grew closer to one another and developed our own small, insane, crazy community, it was fun. It was an enjoyable experience, and I think being able to develop such a small community and such a vibrant, to put it kindly, a vibrant but good community, I think was an experience for me that I would definitely recommend to anyone that I could. I would say take the chance, take the opportunity to live the experience.